we're just free flowing, anyways.
Yeah. So we were. Oh, I'm sorry. You go
No,
ahead.
go ahead.
No, no,
We
no.
were
Let's
mid
do the
conversation. I
introduction
pressed record,
and
and I was
talk
just like,
about
hey,
the deluxe edition network and all that.
hell yeah, let's go. It's Triple T. It doesn't mean it's TikTok Tuesday. We're just having a good conversation from anything about cameras to Star Wars to how, we don't
Fidgets.
even have to show TikToks anymore. But if we show them, that's cool. So if anybody has something clever, he had a good one. Was it True Talk Tuesday
True
or
Talk Tuesday.
True Talk Tuesday? Taco Talk Tuesday, Turkey Trotting Tuesday,
I mean, I do have
anything.
turkeys. I can bring. I
Yeah,
can always have a turkey in here.
that would be a bit of a cure. Maybe one of these days when the weather's nice, you're doing it from the turkey pen, and
Yeah.
or whatever. I don't know if it's a turkey pen, but either way, I don't know. I'm not good with words, but either way, lots of words. Deluxe Edition Network. Guys, check them out. DeluxeEditionNetwork.com. We got the 3 podcasts of the month. It's the last time you're gonna hear. I think I'll say it on January. Yeah, yeah, last one in January because next one. No, just kidding. There's another one. Holy shit! I was thinking it was the 29th already. It's only 25
Nah,
since then.
bro.
All right, couple more on the there. But either way, it's Bev's Video Kingdom Barrel Age Flicks, which we were talking about backstage. How they watch movies, talk about movies, sit around a table, drink some alcohol, and have a good time. Which, if you guys are listening, you guys should reach out. Have Toby. I don't think he's going to be able to make it to West Virginia unless your budget's pretty good to bring him there. But he has the ability to do this and get him on there. He's a movie. He's a movie. What's the right word? I almost said fiend. He's a movie
Buff.
buff. He's a
Buff.
buffed movie buff.
I,
And
I like
kindness
I
matters.
like movies, but I'm not as in depth as a lot of people though. You know what I mean? Like I don't get so into it. Like, don't ask me about directors. I don't care.
Yeah.
Like my movie watching, like when people are like, "What's your favorite kind of movie?" I don't fucking know, man. That's like asking me what my favorite song is. Of what
Yeah.
genre? Well, what's your favorite genre? What kind of music do you listen to? All of it. I listen to all of it, except for
Mhm.
old time twangy country and like die hard like rap, like gangster, like die hard gangster rap and screamo hardcore metal. Like those are the only things I don't listen to.
Yeah.
Just like
I don't think a lot of
I'll
them still
watch
do.
any movie if it keeps me interested, but it has to keep me interested.
Yep. And I have to imagine they do a lot of planning too to be like, hey, and if it's even a little bit better because if you're watching the movie while you're doing the podcast, and you've
Mhm.
probably already seen it, they do everything, obviously on Christmas time, like Krampus and stuff like that, and then Halloween they did some scary movies, and they have a really good thing. Like it, that's just a cool idea, and
I
I'm all about it.
that like I don't know why. I don't know why it is, but I watch a ton I watch a ton of YouTube creators that just they watch movies and react to it while they're watching. I it's I think it's because it's like for me it's like nostalgic when we were growing up, you'd sit around and you'd go rent a movie and you'd sit with your
Hmm.
friends and watch it and you would just kind of bullshit about the ridiculous stuff that's happening on the movie or you all reacting to the same thing and it gives
Yep.
you that kind of feeling to it. Like
100%. Yeah.
have you oh my god, have you ever seen the movie The Room?
The
Tommy
room.
Wiseau. So if the name doesn't sound familiar, this quote will. I did not sleep with her. I did not. Oh, hi, Mark.
Hmm. That does.
that's that's the room. Um, I have found that movie. Now, mind you, the only reason I know the name of the director is because the movie is so bad. So, of course, his name Tommy Wiseau is his name is all over the place.
Hmm.
Um, that is one of those movies that is a horrible movie, but is amazing to watch with your friends.
Yeah. The one that
Um,
we watched the most growing up was Dumb and Dumber. Whether you
oh,
like, I
great
mean,
movie.
cult classic, this and that, but I mean, it was you always picked up different stuff, the quotes, like it was just on because there wasn't a bunch of other shit to watch or do. It was on,
Yeah.
and you were shooting the shit with the boys. Maybe playing. We would do that and play a lot of cards. Played a lot of pitch, a lot of nickel dime poker and shit.
So, okay. So, now that so you mentioned who, man, you want to talk about bringing back some nostalgia. So,
Ooh, let's
um,
do it.
every I was on the high school swim team, and in
Hmm.
Minnesota, the high school girls swim team is the very first season, right? So you got football and it's girls swimming, while football is going on, and then you got guys swimming right after.
Okay.
Um, and
Like
all of us
season
were
wise or
friends
practice wise?
season wise. So it would
Gotcha.
be girls season, and then it would be the guys season. And all of the girl swimmers and guy swimmers, like we all knew each other. Like we were all friends. We all hung out. I think it was probably that whole, because everybody makes fun of swimmers kind of thing when you're in high school type of. So you
Do
just
they?
kind of had that family type feeling, like, hey, we all get picked on. Who gives a shit?
See,
Um,
I didn't really know. Like, I've never heard that because my school didn't have a pool. We were so goddamn small. So
yeah,
I didn't know anybody that ever swam. Like for us, it was weird. They made fun of like band people. We didn't have a marching band, but other schools did. So there was always like the band nerds, but it wasn't
yeah.
like,
Well, you always
to the
had the
point. It was a ball
the
buster.
band. Yeah, you always had the band people that would, and my wife was in the band. Um, Actually, I think was she band? Yeah, she played the flute. Um, but you either had like the band people, but when it came to sports, it was always whatever sports, like the football players and the wrestlers thought was the weakest. So if you didn't have swimming, it'd probably be like soccer or something like that. I mean,
Tennis.
tennis, yeah. Which was funny because I played football, I was in wrestling, track, swimming, water polo, baseball, softball.
Water polo's brutal, isn't it?
Bro, you best workout I've ever had in my life was
It has to
playing
be.
water polo.
I
You
mean,
don't ever you don't ever hang on to the sides. You got to tread water the entire time, or you're swimming the whole time. Like you don't go under the water. Like so
yeah. It's like when you're
that's
in a lake or a river or something the whole time and you know you can't touch and you're just hanging out there. But most of the time you're just like hanging on a floaty or a tube or something. But that's a whole goddamn sport. Like how long is shifts were typical like for you to be out there? And like we're hockey and some other sports, you go as hard as you can for that. And I don't even know anything about water polo except I've seen it on Olympics and shit. And
well,
I'm just like I'm tired watching it.
yeah. So we do. So just to let you know, there's no like it's not like in basketball or football where you have people that come in and go out. And
Oh really?
if I remember correctly, man, it's been a while. If I remember correctly, it was 15-minute halves.
Okay.
So you'd be doing that hard for 15 straight minutes, and then you'd take a short break, and then it'd be another 15 minutes. In the Olympics, I believe they just go straight through. I don't think that well, they might have period breaks or half breaks,
And
but
there's six people and a goalie.
6 people and a goalie, I believe.
Okay. And the
And
reason I just looked up CarolinaWaterPolo.com basic
yeah,
rules. I mean, Carolina, and it said yeah, 6 field
yep,
players, 1 goalie, and you have teams up to 15 players.
yeah.
Okay.
So
Must pass, catch, and you only get one hand.
yes, only one hand. You can't. There's no double handing it and throwing it. It's everything's like so in the Olympics. You'll see them like kind of treading water, but you'll see one hand up with the ball, and they'll constantly going
Yep.
like this. It's because there's somebody in front of your face. And that ball that they use is almost like a tether ball. It's like a real.
Okay. I was wondering.
Yeah. It's kind of got like a grip on it. Like it's like a real like sandpapered kind of textured grip. Dude, if that thing skips across the water and pops you in the face, it's pain.
I bet.
It is pain.
It's crazy. Because, like you said, you're watching the Olympics. They're treading water. They're swimming one hand, and then you got these guys playing defense, and like they're here, they're jumping out, and it's like you got to remember, like they're in a
Yeah, they're
what
just kicking their
eight
legs
foot
like this
pool,
or kicking like that real
ten
hard
foot
to
pool. Like how deep's the pool?
usually 10 foot, 10
Yeah,
to
I
12.
mean,
Yeah.
god damn. And Olympic and collegiate pool sizes are 30 meters,
Mhm.
so 150 foot by 20 meters or 60 feet.
Yeah.
Wow,
It's
that's
tiring,
unreal.
man.
Is that could that be the most tiring sport? Like soccer, they run, but not all the time. Midfielders are on the move. Attackers only attack when they're there. Defense is usually standing around unless it's there. Goalies are chilling. And that to me is there. I mean, then you have cross country and stuff. It's not as tiring because these guys are in shape. They practice. You know what I mean? It's
Yeah.
me and you want to go run a 5K. We're gonna probably struggle. I know I'm gonna struggle,
Yeah,
but like these
I'm
guys,
gonna hurt.
they're like a 5K. I'm gonna run a 5K to warm up for a 5K and then cool down with a 5K because that's what they do. So I'm not counting that.
I
But
mean, that was me in the
holy,
military. Like while I was in
oh,
the military, I could run. I
yeah,
am not in the military anymore. Have not been. Oh man, this October will be a decade.
Well, it's got to imagine, you ran, probably did push-ups and shave almost every day. Those are three things you don't care probably to ever do in your entire life,
Yes.
I would imagine.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because most of my buddies that were military now grow nice beards, don't go for jogs, and are not crushing push-ups.
So I'm trying to get myself back in a little bit of better shape. So while I'm at work now, since I work from home currently, I've got an alarm set. So every 30 minutes, I'll get down, knock out 25 push-ups, 25 sit-ups, and then 25 like flutter kicks, and then I'll
Yep,
plank for 2 minutes.
smart.
Yeah.
They
So
they build up too. You do it every day.
yeah, that's it. They get. I mean, I've been doing it now for about 2 months. I mean, the 25 push-ups and 25 sit-ups, that's not a problem anymore. I mean, I could increase it, but I just want to keep it at that.
Yeah, you're not
I mean,
looking to get jacked and
you're talking about
like
every
water
30
polo.
every 30 minutes over 8 hours. I mean, I'm getting in plenty of push-ups and sit-ups without the need to do more each sitting.
Nothing worse than planking and just having that shake. Ugh. I know.
Well,
I've been thinking too. Maybe it's because where I am and there's winter and I can't really do anything. But it's like every winter, all I want to do is I want to go on these hikes. I want to do this, and it's you can still do them, but it's tough with the kids. You know what I mean? It's not like, hey, me and the dog are gonna go drive 45 minutes one way to go on a hike without you guys. Have fun.
I love being outside during the winter. Like, and around here where I live, I'm looked at like a psychopath, because it's North Carolina. We went out to go check on the chicken sickles this morning because the feels like temperature was 6 degrees,
Oof,
and we're
that's cold
checking
down
out the
there.
chickens, and the wife is out there. I mean, she is just bundled up. Now, granted, she's from Minnesota too, but she's like, I don't think my body has ever fully acclimated to an environment outside of Minnesota because like that temperature gets up over 73 degrees and I'm immediately miserable. Immediately miserable. If it's over 73, immediately miserable. The wife, if it's below 68, she's immediately miserable. so so we have kind of a rougher time in the house, but we went outside today. I've got this new Whoopee style hoodie. So it's made of like that military poncho liner. And then
Mhm.
I've got that eye hood heated vest, but I didn't have it turned on. I just had the poncho hoodie. I just had the Whoopee hoodie and that vest. And I zipped it up to about here. And I'm walking
Yep.
around. I didn't have my gloves on. I'm taking like because all the water's frozen. So I got to pull the top sheet of ice off of all the water buckets, and I'm just dipping my hand in there and putting them back in my pocket. And she's just walking around looking like a little Inuit, all completely bundled up in like seal fur, and she's got this giant, thick, fluffy hat that's got like little bunny ears on it. It's just absolutely
Oh
adorable,
yeah.
not gonna lie. But I was just looking at her. I'm like, "You good?" She's like, "I'm cold. I need to get back inside." I was like, "Okay."
Okay.
I'm gonna go walk around with the turkey because anywhere I walk, the turkey will follow me. So
Just follow.
yeah.
Turkey trotting Tuesday, baby.
Hmm.
You know what else keeps you warm? Bourbon. Speaking of bees and tree, and we got the Fat Baby bourbon. And I don't know if you knew this, but they completely sold out. 100% sold out. They couldn't believe it. Is it because of this show and this brand? No, but I'd like to think so because it happened just as we became friends of the show. So I'd like to take a little credit for it. But they did have a viral article that they did, from like the New York Times, picked it up and everything. Like it got pretty big.
Oh,
And
nice.
so they are back in stock, which is amazing. And like I said, it's good stuff. Good people behind the company, and I absolutely love it. If you're looking for a little bit of a tear wrenching story, go to their About Us page on fatbabybourbon.com and hear about how it is, how it came to be. And obviously, you see it on my whiskey tower over there. You might not see it, but the people might see it, and it's pretty good. I'm not like a bourbon. I keep saying it, like I don't overly know bourbon. Like it wasn't something that I drank a lot of, but I know what I like,
Hmm.
and this is good. I noticed that I do like it with a little bit of ice. Maybe there's some people who are, that's how you drink bourbon. It's like who gives a shit how I drink my bourbon?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like I
There's
enjoy
nothing
it when
worse than
ice.
a bourbon snob, isn't there? Like
Yeah.
if you're gonna come to me and ask me, hey, what bourbon would you recommend? I'm going to give you my recommendation. I'm going to give you the recommendation of the bourbon to drink. I'm not going to recommend how you drink it. Like
Yeah.
I also like to have some ice with mine, or I'll just put like a little, depending upon the bourbon, like I'll take just a little bit of cold water and I'll just, like
Yep.
just a little bit to smooth it out.
Hmm.
But I don't dude, I don't understand people that feel the need, are so snobbish that they feel the need to tell you how to enjoy something that you enjoy.
Yeah. It's like, well, and this is a 4-year-old bourbon, and they're like, well, technically, a bourbon has to be, and I'm like, ah, cool. Yeah, I don't really give a shit about your technicality, and nor do I know that. Like, I know that this company had a cool story. They're friends of the show. It's really good. I like it with ice or a little water. And yeah, it's 4 years, and I love the label and stuff. And being a guy in New York, they're from New York. Like, it's awesome. Like, don't go buy it then if you don't want to, or try it and be like, holy shit, you are right. Drink it without ice. Drink it 2 fingers, 3 fingers. I don't know any of that shit. I put it in a Flintstones cup that I got at a thrift store,
It's
and
a
I
cool
sip
cup
it,
though. I
and
mean,
it's
it's a cool
fantastic.
cup.
Yeah, we got this for a quarter. Well, there was 4 of them for $1, and I'm like, oh shit, the OG. Like, people, you used to be able to get this shit from McDonald's.
Yeah. Yeah.
Fucking
The
man,
old
those
McDonald's cups,
days.
or they'd have the McDonald's cups with like Garfield and all the old cartoon characters on.
Yep.
Dude, so speaking of them selling out, have you heard about this Josh wine?
Josh Wine.
Come on in.
But I'm gonna Google it.
Okay. So Josh wine it's $6.99. All right. It's like really cheap wine, and it went viral because of the label. It just simply says Josh. Like that's the name of the wine.
Is it
And
Josh Sellers?
yeah, yeah.
Or
It's
so like
Josh
you go to
Sellers, and
oh right
their
here the
sales have gone through the roof because people were kind of making fun of the wine because of the label and everything, and there was all these TikToks about it. And so, of course, because this went so viral, you got news sources picking up on it. You've got people writing, like Daily Mail's doing articles and things like that. And I every once in a while, TikTok makes me wish that I like invested in companies better.
yeah,
Because
yep.
the moment you see something like that, you're like, I'm going to immediately, as soon as you start seeing more than like the moment that you start seeing multiple videos being made from it,
Interesting.
you
Yeah,
got to
so
go. It was $6.99. So I don't know if they've now bumped up their price since then.
interesting. Yeah, like I said, this is just from for anybody just listening, joshsellers.com. Not a friend of the show, but this is a cool story about yeah, they're 17.99, but then there's this article right here from bonappetit.com that said Josh Wine was viral before the memes.
Hmm.
And they go in here and like you said, this King Pisces is on there, and he put on X or Twitter. I'm not going to keep telling y'all to grow up and leave that Stella and barefoot alone.
Look what she brings me. Look at this.
Ooh, there's pictures of on the beach with this Josh wine and stuff. But yeah, I did see when I was googling it earlier that it said yeah, it was like how did the $8 wine or $7 wine or whatever 6.99 wine go viral?
Yeah,
Right here,
and now
$8
it's
Josh wine takes internet by storm. Makers having a good laugh at all the memes. It's a
yep,
California wine company.
yeah. And now they're laughing all the way to the bank. I mean, because you see the article says it was $6.99, $8.99. Now it's $17.99. I'm sure they're still selling out.
Yeah, this right here, sfchronicle.com picked it up and said how this $20 California wine became the internet's favorite joke. And wine apparently rarely ever goes viral in such a mainstream way, according to this article. And then, like you said, there's all this stuff on X and this and that. So, in other words, apparently these people say that it is a step up in price. Josh bottles typically go for 15 to $20, higher than the $10 or less you'll pay for Barefoot and Stella Rose. But the Twitterverse didn't need a wine critic to tell them that it's not much of an improvement in quality. Well,
The
it's
wife brought me some
about
beer.
Ooh, what do you got? Bull Durham. Oh, that's cool. That's a cool can too.
So
Horse style.
they've got Bull Durham and Bull Durham Light. So
Mm-hmm.
obviously, just reverse the colors, and that's their Bull Durham Light can.
Yep.
I like buying local when it comes to beers. I like to try out local
Same.
beers rather than go with like rather than go with your Budweiser, your Cools, which the Coors hand grenades. Those are still my favorite, like the original
Love
Coors
them.
Banquet in the stubby bottle.
Can you get Mickey's still down there? My buddy,
I
when he was
have
living
not
in
seen
Georgia,
Mickey's in probably 5 years.
yeah, they were made by the same company as Miller, I do believe. And when my buddy was in Georgia, he was stationed down there, and a couple of the other buddies moved down there and stayed there for a while. But that's all they were drinking was Mickey's, and it's a malt liquor, and we're gonna locate it. Obviously, I'm a Jenny guy, so don't.
Hmm.
I tell you right now, if I could get my hand on those Mickey grenades, like you were kind of talking about,
Yeah,
oh shit, um,
the Mickey hand grenades, man, like they're iconic.
they are. In
Like
the
if
logo, he had
somebody's
the
holding
hat and everything.
if somebody's holding just this tiny little green bottle, you know exactly what that is.
Mm-hmm.
You know it's not going to
Uh,
be the greatest tasting thing you've ever had, but
so, according to the internet, in a rough zip code near a location near you, which obviously I will not there, a Food Lion. Apparently, let me take off this dark reader because it's hard to. There's a Cape Fear beverage,
okay.
a Carly CS, Eagles Nest, Stop and Shop, Duncan Junction, Shalley Beat Pantry Shop, and some other places that might ring a bell, might not. But Mickey's.com, you can go to the locator, type it all in. Guarantee you, there's nothing near me.
Let me see, because you mentioned Food Line, which is that's the big one around here.
Mm-hmm. I'm
So
going
let
to
me
show
see.
the, not obviously the map, but I'm going to show everybody that hasn't seen the iconic logo and bottle. This is what it is. Obviously, 40s, 24s, but the little grenades. Oh, baby.
Where are they? Like 8 ounces? The grenades or 10 ounces?
I thought they were, yeah, they're still 12.
Are they?
Yep. Yep.
See, I
12-ounce
thought they were
can. They do 16,
smaller.
20. No, I mean, they're pretty decent size. At least the ones that I had. There was some other ones like Schlitz and some other ones that had the like 6 or 8 ounces. Mickey, don't. I'm gonna tell you right now, don't mess with any Mickey's ice
No,
beer. No bueno. No bueno.
it's like Steel
And I
Reserve.
can't. That's not even an ice beer. I went on a kick Steel Reserve for a little bit, and it was like a week. And every time it was like drinking gasoline. I can't talk about beer and not have one, so I'm grabbing a beer while you're looking that up. But yeah, the Food Lion it said, which I think was kind of near you. Um,
Oh,
like I said, you can put in the.
yeah, it's right there. It's right down the road. Like that is right
But they
down the road.
might not have the like a lot of those stores. I know at Genesee, when you punch it in, it might say, "Hey," like for you, and for instance, there was one near you, but they only had Jenny Ice, so they might not have a full product line. But Food Lion's pretty big. You think that they, if anybody's going to have, just about all of them. But
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you what, I got my hands. I drove 3 hours round trip to grab the Genesee new citrus pills.
How are those?
It's like a lemon lime kind of one. It's pretty good.
See, I like the
It's
ones like that. It's like like I love the line. Like my go-to beer during the summer is Leinenkugel's Summer Shandy.
okay. Yeah, what's the one? There was one that tastes almost like a fruity pebbles, Lion Kugel, and I would drink that a decent amount when
They have
it
a
was
berry
seasonal as
one.
well. Forget what it was, but yeah, this is the lemon. It's lime. It's fantastic. Unfortunately, like I said, the distribution place around me doesn't carry it. I called 7 different stores because the kid had a game in an area near a city that I knew would have it, and I called this place, didn't have it, didn't have it, didn't have it. So I called I forget the name of it. It was a little gas station, and somebody answers, had it all? I'm like, hey, I'm just wondering if you had the Genesee pills. The what? I'm like, the Genesee pills. The new one. Yeah, we have it. The new Genesee. Yeah, we have it. Okay, stop by. Bye. I was like, there's no fucking chance that they have it, but they know that if I'm gonna come in there, I'm gonna probably buy something. It's like, ah. And then on my brain went, there's a store that sells like a ton of different beer that you can't get under there. It's called Bear World. And you go in there and it has a huge walk-in cooler. There was one 12-pack of that left, and there was a 12-pack of my favorite, the Crayon Orange fall one, and it was like the most glorious day ever.
That's the I wish we had a beer place like that. Like, in all honesty, the best place for me to get alcohol, whether it be beer or liquor, is going to be Fort Bragg, a
Yeah, they bring
military
some
base.
different stuff in.
I mean, you
Yep.
want to talk about people that you need to satisfy drinking habits. You go to a military base. It's essentially just every shop at every PX, they all sell alcohol. Like, you can't sell alcohol in a gas station in North Carolina, but you can as long as it's on a
On a base.
military base. So
Yep.
you go there, every gas station, it's just lined walls of liquor and like coolers full of beer.
Yeah, why not make it convenient for people? Come on, North Carolina. I mean,
It's
here you can
convenient
get
for me.
alcohol
It's convenient for me. It's 20-minute drive and I've got military ID. So
Yeah, a buddy of mine when he used to go. There's Fort Drum that's fairly close to us,
Mhm.
and he used to go on there and get a lot of stuff, cheap liquor, cheap alcohol, stuff like that. And I got to go with him a couple of times. It's the only times I've really been on the base, to be honest. You know, it's a city within a city.
And its prices is usually lower and it's tax free.
Yep. And you know what I mean? Like you're getting access to stuff that you probably aren't going to get. They have different distribution stuff, and there's people from all over the country that are on the bases. But that maybe that's a $1 million idea, Toby. We open a store in North Carolina that has beer from all over the place.
Mm.
As long as
So
there's a market for people that like beer from all over the place.
it's like if you really like food from foreign countries, if you're in the US, by foreign country is what I mean. So if
Yep.
you're in the US and you like places from foreign countries, so another benefit that military bases have is their commissaries, right? Their grocery stores.
Hmm.
Um, because we have military bases from all around the world, we have soldiers, obviously, that have families and spouses from all around the world.
Yep.
So the commissaries, unlike when you go to, um, a grocery store wherever you live locally, and you might see a Hispanic aisle or like a German aisle. Like they have aisle after aisle of European. You've got your German, you've got your French cuisines, you got like all these different like direct from those countries. Their meat departments have different types of meat and fish from all different countries. Same with the cheeses. Like, dude,
Oh, Jesus.
best place for me to go grocery shopping if we have the time to do it is to go onto a military installation. It's phenomenal.
I had a buddy that obviously we were much younger, and he thought he was a stud, and he would try to go to bigger cities that had grocery stores, and he loved trying to pick up chicks slash maybe single moms at grocery stores. Like that was his thing. He tried to get numbers, this
But
and that, and it's
you
funny.
had somebody that did that cliche shit.
Oh yeah, and he thought he would, but his thing was, dude, they had these different aisles. So like maybe if I want like a Korean, or maybe I just have to hang out in these aisles for a little bit, strike up some conversations. And I was like, oh yeah, cool. And legit, he would drive a decent amount to try to do this. And I'm like, oh, guess is last time I checked, guess what his success rate was?
I'm gonna say 50%.
From what I understand, definitely below 25%. Might even be zero. Because dude rules. He's gonna always be like, yeah, I definitely, picked up like X amount.
Yeah.
You can instantly subtract or divide by however many. I'm pretty sure it never worked for him.
Are you
Wasted
one of
money.
those? Are you one of those guys, man?
I don't really tell the numbers, but if I was, I would be real with it. I don't
Yeah.
have anything to hide or exaggerate about, especially something stupid like that.
But I mean,
You know,
I've it's rare for me to find somebody that's over the age of 25 that's not like brutally honest with their number game if they're asked, right?
yeah,
Like I've
yeah,
always been honest.
yep.
Besides my own wife, 4,
That's pretty
right?
easy counting,
Like
and then
4, pretty easy counting.
yeah, yeah,
And if somebody were to do that all guys, number math, you'd have to reduce me to 0.
I've never. Yeah,
I
you're
mean,
right. I've
going
never
off,
been to.
yeah, going off the way they say it, they go, well, you got to divide it by 3, or you divide it by half, and then subtract by half of that, and you're like,
But as you get older, though, I think that's a young man's game. As you get older, then you have to say, okay, you've been married. Fair enough. There's an automatic guarantee. You've been married multiple times, maybe. Okay, there's a couple. You know that there's some of your numbers. You know what I mean? Your first 2 ended because you were cheating on your wife. So there's at least another couple more.
yeah,
And then you sprinkle it. You know what I mean? So there's some guaranteed as these people get older that they can't play this game like I've been with 4. Cool. You've been married 3 times. You cheated on 2 of them. That's fucking 5.
yeah,
And that's all that, and that's basic number. You're cheating on them. You're probably cheating with more than one. At least any of the people that I know that have cheated on their wives, it's never just been one. But so yeah,
that
it is. Yeah.
that brings up another question. So, if you run into somebody, male or female, doesn't matter, and they tell you that they've been married more than once,
Mm-hmm.
how many times would they have to tell you that they've been divorced before, in your mind, you go, maybe it's you?
I'm gonna say
2,
2.
3?
Uh, 3 seems logical that maybe it's them because
Yeah,
maybe
like
you marry
without
young, it
asking
just
them
doesn't
what they
work out.
did, like
Yeah,
without
I'd say
asking, well,
3.
did you cheat? Did they cheat? Without asking any of that. If somebody was like, yeah, I've been married twice, you start going,
Okay. Well,
like, here's the thing. Like, if you're a guy or a girl and you've been married twice and both your partners have cheated on you, I'm gonna tell you it's you. You're the problem. You're the problem.
yeah.
They cheated on you for a reason, not because they're shitbags or they're horrible people. They did it because they're not happy with their home life. You're probably never giving it up. I mean, let's be honest. I mean, that statement of um that statement of if if you're not going to give it to them, they'll get it some other way. I'm going to say that's pretty true.
It's human nature, right?
Yeah, or they're going to look for some other way. Me, if I don't get
And
it for a
there's always
while,
the
I hit the bathroom. Like,
right, and there's always the ones the people that end up marrying somebody even though they've been cheating on them the whole time, thinking that, oh, I'm going to be married, they're going to change. People rarely change, you know what I mean? So there's that scenario, but and then
the
the marry young people grow apart, and
yeah, the
yeah.
fixers. The fixers are
Hmm.
guaranteed to end up in divorce. Guaranteed. I guarantee. The fixers are either going to end up in divorce or they're going to stay together and their partner's going to cheat on them. Because
Yeah.
you should not be marrying somebody to change them or fix them. Like, you see a lot of people that just, and I get it, the intentions are good. You're like, this person is, I can make them a better person. Like, I get the intention, but it's not going to go well.
No.
And the
What
people
about the
that,
people that have a baby to save the marriage? How dumb is that?
yeah,
Oh
we're gonna have a
man.
baby so that we can have we can have a nice, long, healthy marriage. Nope, what you're gonna have is a child that grows up and goes through a lot of therapy.
And hopefully 2 happy homes, but that
Yeah,
statistically doesn't happen,
no,
unfortunately. Yeah, that's a tough one. Yeah, 3 or 4, I guess, before
yeah.
if it's the same person, and then you sprinkle in some more odds where the older you get, you're probably getting with other people that have already been divorced, because if they've either never been married, which has to be a huge potential red flag if you're in your 40s, 50s, maybe 60s and never been married.
I'm not gonna lie to you.
You're
If you're in your mid to late 30s and you haven't at least been engaged, to me that's a red flag. Like, how many serious relationships have you been in? How long have they lasted? And why are they not lasting? Like, that's a
yeah.
red flag. Like, are you not capable of being in a relationship? And if so, why? What about you? Like, if you're 35 years old and you're telling me, well, I'm just waiting for the right person.
But not moving anywhere, and you
Yeah,
just live in the same town that you grew up the whole
yeah.
time.
You're not waiting for shit. You're making excuses, and then you're gonna eventually call yourself the victim,
Hmm.
or you're gonna become downtrodden and be like, I'm just Nobody wants to love me. What the fucking? Listen, there's 800 people in your town. They all know each other. Like,
And you're probably related to most of them.
yeah, maybe you should move away from there.
Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Yeah,
Hey,
that's
what's
yeah.
your weather like right now? Like, are you guys getting hit with the snow, or is it mainly cold?
Right now today cold. We had the snow, and like I said, not to be you lived in Minnesota, so when you're like, oh, you don't have that much, we got like a foot and a half, maybe 2 foot, which is manageable for us. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? So it's not a ton of snow, but it's kind of enough where people can snowmobile. The snow belt is the area that gets that heavy lake effect, the same stuff people are seeing during the Bills games, stuff like that. Obviously, they're getting 4 or 5 foot, which still manageable, still kind of a pain in the ass, because you got to get
yeah,
somewhere to go to the snow. But then it went from that to the cold. So like the last 3 or 4 days, the high's been like 5.
yeah. I've got a bunch of friends that say that they got some snow and they were happy about it, and then it just immediately like started to melt. It
Oh,
started to melt, and then the temperature dropped and the wind picked up, and everything. It looks like snow. You know exactly what I'm talking about. Looks like snow, but if you go to touch it, it's just like touching concrete.
yep. Ugh, that's the worst, especially when
Ha-
you fall.
have you seen the photos and videos popping around about uh the uh the Lake Michigan right now?
Mm-mm.
Oh, look that up. Holy,
Lake
it looks almost all of the coast of Lake Michigan looks like a damn sculpture, like looks like a marble sculpture.
Oh, the striking ice formations. Let's go over to the BBC. Oh shit, that's cool. Let's throw this up
They
on the
got
screen.
they got so they had freezing temperatures and rain and then wind gusts of over 30
Mm-hmm.
miles an hour causing like instant freeze.
Yeah, we had that pretty recently, but not to this extreme. We got the rain. We had areas that got 70 to 80 mile an hour wind gusts. That actually at that same Fort Drum that I was telling you about, the military base, they had reports over 80 mile an hour gusts,
Yeah.
and they ended up getting in that area state of emergency because they went from that no power for the entire city. Then it followed with feet of snow. I'm like,
How?
this is something out of like a movie.
Yeah, it's like the day after tomorrow.
Yes, that's what I was thinking. Yeah.
So I don't know how we got so lucky where I'm at. The what was it last week or the week before?
It
Everybody
was
was
two
getting
weeks ago with that
that
tornado or
huge
whatever you got.
storm. Yeah, we had multiple tornadoes touch down around us. We were getting wind gusts of 75 miles an hour. Sustained winds of around 25 to 35 miles an hour. I didn't have a single tree go down.
Really?
Not a single one. This is the first year I've ever not had a tree go down because the rain was heavy or the winds were heavy. I think all my I think all my trees that could fall in the past, 7 years
The
that
weak
we've
ones
lived
are
here.
gone.
I
Darwin,
think I think
tree Darwinism.
yeah, the weakest are starting to thread themselves out.
What was crazy though, why this storm was even worse with all the power lines, trees falling down and stuff up here, is it came out of the southeast where
Mm.
normally everything is like west and everything. So I guess the trees and telephone poles and stuff this is what I've been told. I guess it kind of makes sense, but they're not used to being weathered that way. So
Yeah,
they're used to going this way, and as soon as they go the other way,
that
then
just
they just cripple.
that makes
And
sense.
I don't know where you were in 1998, if you were like military or if
I
you
was in
were
Bosnia.
or Bosnia. We got a terrible ice storm in '98 that
Mhm.
took out a ton of the area from like us all the way up to Maine. And I don't remember if you ever heard about it. It was like we were without power for almost a month. And I mean, it was just catastrophic. I mean,
That
some of
was
these pictures that
yeah, because Atlanta was completely under ice.
yeah, it was. And I mean,
Um,
technology wasn't good. We didn't even have a computer or anything at this time, so like we couldn't really see how devastating it was elsewhere.
no,
But I mean, it just
the wife and I got stuck at a hotel waiting for my flight from we were in Virginia when I came home on leave from Bosnia because that was December November, and I got stuck
This was
waiting.
January.
Yeah, and then there was another one that I got fucked over on this one, and that was in 2000. That was January 2005. There's a
Okay.
really bad one, and we got stuck in a hotel again, waiting, waiting to fly from Roanoke to Atlanta, a week stuck in that hotel because all of Atlanta was just under a thick coat of ice.
Yeah, it seems to cycle every so many years. It's just it's a weird thing. Yeah,
Eh,
I'm looking at pictures. This is the ice storm of '05 in Atlanta or Georgia. There was just
Yeah, yep.
chaos because you know what I mean. They're not built like us, and we thought we were good to go, but not so much.
And listen, I if you're from the north, okay, I am from the north. All right. If you're watching this podcast and you're from the north and you're like, oh, bunch of babies can't handle shut up. Okay. Listen, shut up. They're not designed to handle it down here. They don't have ice trucks, they don't have the snow plows.
The
And
salt, the
nowhere
sand.
I've ever lived in the north has ever dealt with ice storms like that. Snowstorms, blizzards, absolutely. But ice storms like I've never walked outside of my house in Minnesota in 19 years of living there, or the 4 years that I lived in Alaska, and walked out to a 4-inch thick sheet of ice covering everything.
Yeah, to put that in perspective, you have 4 inches of ice on a lake or a body of water. You can go out and ice fish
Yeah.
because the water's so goddamn, the ice is so strong.
Yeah.
I mean, that's ridiculous. And not to mention their houses. I mean, people in the South, like my buddy Burley, he lives in Houston, and they're getting cold and ice and stuff, and their houses aren't insulated to be able to protect it. They almost have to shut off water
Yeah.
to, you know what I mean, to so pipes aren't bursting. He still had a pipe burst, and I mean, it's down there. And like I said, I don't know a ton about plumbing, but a lot of the stuff that they were using, especially in his house, because he sent me pictures and I was kind of helping him, is just like older style CPVC in these
That's
huge houses,
and that's what
you know,
that's what our house is. Our house is all
because it's
PVC.
cheaper.
So if it gets super cold, there's a reason why, you got to find that sweet spot on the faucet so it just whoop,
Yep.
whoop.
Keep it moving just a little bit. But yeah, I mean, like up here, like the manufactured homes and stuff are really the only ones that use the CPVC pipe. Up here, a lot of it is either, you know, if you have the money, whether it's copper or PEX and stuff like that, where it's a little more flexible and resistant to cold. But again, it's just, you know, different. But you know what? The Amish have it right. They never have a pipe burst. Never once have we had somebody come in and say, "Hey, my pipe burst." You know,
What do the
we
Amish
need
use? Do they use copper piping?
they don't have any running water.
Oh yeah, it's all wells.
They just wells. They have a well. They hand pump it. They heat it up, and they usually, from what I understand, because you know they live all around me, and you know people, you know, have them help on farms and stuff back in the day before said, you know, other help has came in and is cheaper than the Amish. You know, maybe from places like Guatemala or something, allegedly. And
Allegedly.
they, like on Sundays, you know, whether you know it's church day and stuff like that, they would typically go. They'd heat up the water, put it in a tub, and the family would share the same bath water. They'd just fly through it. That was like the day they showered, and they would just get through it. Lots of wood stoves, and because I was actually talking to somebody the other day, I'm like, my buddies and stuff, they all have like the outdoor wood boilers, and you know maybe have wood stoves, and you see big stacks of wood in their yard and all over the place. I never see anything with the Amish ever. They're all over the house. So the only thing I can think is maybe they're all down in the basement and it's in the basement to do it. But you would think the wood stove would want to be on at least the main level.
Well, for
I
like a
know
lot
heat
of these houses,
rises, but
right? But for like a lot of these, so my father-in-law lives in Virginia, and he's got a wood stove to heat the house, and
mhm,
it's actually, I mean, he's got to be close to 2,600 square feet, about 2,300 square feet in his house, and it's all wood stove, and he's got the piping runs through the entire house. Like obviously you've got the main stack, which is going to take the
yep,
soot and everything else away, but then he's got the rest of the piping goes through the house
runs
that
there.
carries the heat. And I'll tell you what, man, I like I would have never guessed that house is heated because you walk in that house and it is warm in the
Yeah.
winter.
Oh yeah, they throw it out, and some of them have multiple wood
Yeah.
stoves that they do, you know, and they use them for cooking as well. You know what I mean? The old like an older style one, which I get it, but and I've never like they're always working. I've never seen Amish cutting wood, and they must do it, but it's just like I never see those huge stacks of wood. I never see them out there. Obviously, they don't have chainsaws and stuff. I don't see them, whether whatever saw they're using to cut them down. Like it's just a weird thing. They have to use it, but how they
Yeah.
like what are they doing that's so much different than my buddy's doing it?
Well, I mean, and most of
Curious.
them live on plenty of land,
Mm-hmm.
so you'd think
Yep.
you see them at least hauling it.
Hauling big logs, cutting them down. Like I know they must have to, and it's probably I'd have to imagine something that the kids are probably doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
They're having the younger generations like, hey, go to school for a couple hours a day and then go cut and stack wood and help in the garden, stuff like that. They're keeping busy, but it's like, where the hell is all guy? So and I've been driving. There's legit an Amish house that's 2 miles one way and a mile and a half one way, and I keep looking. I'm like, where the hell's all the wood stack? I'm looking like
See,
a
now
creep, and
now
I'm
it's
just
gonna
like,
bother me. I've got
I'm
listen.
gonna go up to my boy John up the road and be like, "Listen, man, he's a cabinet maker, super busy guy. He has a beautiful workshop, and if you ever need some cabinets, hit him up. John, give him a call."
Okay, so the Amish, this is interesting. So the Amish tend to stack their wood in the shape of teepees or like almost circular.
They do that with hay. I've never seen that with wood.
Yeah, like with the
They
wood,
do their
it's
hay
almost
teepees.
like it looks like a big ball, and like the wood is like shoved in sideways, so it's like
Hmm,
the lengthwise goes into the center.
interesting. Oh yeah, I saw that first picture of the shaker.
Yeah, and
Never
then,
seen one, and there's a lot of Amish around here.
yeah. So I mean,
That's got to be
but
some fancy stuff somewhere else.
yeah, a lot of the other photos I was seeing, it looks like they shape them up like kind of like teepees.
Hmm,
So
interesting. Yeah, yeah. We just like I said, we did the enclosed porch on our back thing, and it's funny. The wife today, she's like, "We should just sit out on the back porch by the fire. It'd be so nice. A good day for it." I'm like, "It's 7. Yeah, but we have the plastic around. The heat will heat most of it." I'm like, "There's none of me that wants to bundle up to sit around this. Like we have a solo stove. It's pretty warm. It's not gonna just instant heat." I'm like, "I'll tell you what. Go ahead. You can enjoy it. I'll come out every once in a while with a glass of Fat Baby bourbon. Hang out for 20 minutes until I'm freezing because it's 7 out." She's like, "We'll be by the fire." And I'm like, "Okay."
just
Football's
got
on
just got to
at
get
3 o'clock
yourself
our
one of
time.
those heated hoodies, man.
I should, but like I was like, "We have all this wood." I'm like, "I understand. We also have summer and this and that." And it all started because I've been looking at wood-fired pizza ovens and how they're fairly affordable and how it would just be a cool thing to bust out every once in a while. And you
I've
can use charcoal or wood.
I have seen failure after failure video of those pizza ovens lately.
Yeah.
It's
I
just like
mean,
people
the
getting
the biggest
frustrated
thing that I
because like the pizza's not sliding off. I'm like, yeah, that's because you have to flour the wood
your dough.
paddle. Yeah.
Yep.
You can't just
Yeah.
throw dough on it and expect it to slide. That's
And you need to be able to have a gauge of how hot the pizza stone is. You know what I mean? You can't
yeah,
throw it in when it's 300 or 400 like a conventional oven. It
yeah.
needs to be 550 to 600, 700, that as hot as it can. And the one that I was looking at was from a company, Pizzello or whatever, Pizzzello. They have a nice combo because my friends at the Dude Network, they're giving one away through on like Instagram or Twitter or something.
Hmm.
And I was like, oh man, I just want to. They're actually like 42% off right now. They use charcoal, they use wood, and it's the same thing. So I watched a bunch of videos, and you can use it as just like a little square bonfire or like a
Hmm.
little pit and not have the
Yeah.
pizza thing that it separates. And the guy made some decent ones. I really love. He broke down like 4 different style doughs in different thicknesses and stuff. And he goes, it definitely doesn't work with a thicker dough. And he had the thermometer, and it was right around 550. He threw a log on right before to do it, but then so much smoke came in that it gave it like, the top of the dough didn't really crisp up and a little coloration, which
Right.
I'm like, not a lot of people really get into it. But he said the bottom crisp was fantastic. And he's like, you want to do this obviously for a hobby, do it once in a while. He goes, it's going to make a good pizza. Is it as good as the other ones I own? No, but those are also 3 to 6 to $1,000.
Yeah.
He goes, for a hobby, you just want to do it with the kids, this and that. He goes, it's going to be hot enough. And he goes, get the 12-inch one. So you're making little personal pan style ones. He's like, it's going to work perfect.
Something
Good pizza.
perfect for sitting around the fire out, on a summer night or something like that. And
Yep. Throw a couple pieces of wood on this. It's going to start fairly quick. Throw it in there. And It was like I said, it was a good video. I forget the guy's name that did it. It might even been the one like on an Amazon review but I'm pretty sure I YouTubed it. But there's some cool stuff, and all that shit's getting more and more affordable.
Yeah.
But that's
Well,
the one that I was looking at.
things need to get more affordable because my
Other things,
my
like
my pay
yeah,
certainly hasn't gone up. Like, dude, so the big rage over the past decade or so really is these tiny houses.
hmm
So I don't know how I fell into it. It was on Instagram. I fell into the tiny house rabbit hole, like the tiny house
ooh,
videos rabbit hole on Instagram. Now, check this out. We saw a video last night of an RV, right? Like a trailer,
hmm hmm
44 foot, had 2 bedrooms, 2 bathrooms, an entire, like a whole ass kitchen, like a nice, like a family room, like nice. It was really nice. $60,000, $480 a month. I was like, I looked at the wife. I said, we might have a new mother-in-law suite getting delivered. Um, or something that I can use, or Peyton can go and have his own place, but still be on the
yeah,
property, if he doesn't want to be in here. And I was like, that's not a bad option. And then I was like, well, but what about a tiny house? So I'm looking at these tiny houses, 480 square feet, has all the same things that this RV does, right? And the RV was hooked up to water, hooked up to
hmm
gas, hooked up to electricity, right? Like it had all the same amendments that my house does. Looked at a
and you
tiny
could you
house.
could easily add on a solar option in those
Yep.
very affordably, the RV ones.
Looked at a tiny house, 480 square feet, $125,000. I'm like, you can go fuck
Isn't it
yourself.
stupid?
I live in a 2,400 square foot home on 3 acres, and it only cost $20,000 more than that.
Yep.
So,
I was telling the kids, I said I have a rule of thumb because truck prices, vehicle prices are through the goddamn
oh,
roof too. And I was like,
ridiculous.
because we have an almost 15-year-old, and obviously when they become 16, and the whole drive-in shit and talking about this and that, and I was like, yeah, with gas and insurance, I gave a listen, which opened their eyes pretty quickly how much to have a vehicle. But I'm like, even if I was to go buy a I have a rule of thumb: I will never spend more than I did on my house on a vehicle.
No,
And there's people that, I mean, because there was this whole talk about the Tesla Cybertruck or whatever it is, and the price tag on those, and then you're looking at these. We went from Toyota to Ford to Chevy, and I mean these trucks like with decent options, this and that, they're like 80, $90,000 brand new, and it's
mhm,
like, oh, holy shit, no way. Like, and I'm not a vehicle guy and never will be. Like, some people just love having new, nice, like, cool, like that's what you love, that's what you're passionate about, you feel cool drive. Like me, I could give a shit.
dude.
My truck's paid off for. It's a 2017. Stoked about it. Hope the fucking thing lasts for another 200,000 miles.
Yep,
Like,
I've got a 2018 Toyota Camry, and I've got a 2019 Jeep. Was it the Jeep Trailhawk, Jeep
hmm.
Compass Trailhawk?
Oh yeah, 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 yep. I
I
know
am
what those.
gonna
Yep.
own those vehicles until they are fully paid off, plus easily another 5, 6 years. Dude, we are still getting. Um, Toyota keeps sending us, hey, we're looking at your car, low estimate. We'd like to give you 17,000 on your trade in. Maximum of 22,000. I'm like, because I mean, the car itself was, I think, 29,000, but I rolled off I got such a good deal. I rolled off the lot at like 25,000.
Yep.
So I literally rolled off the lot lower than what the sticker price was on it.
hmm
And so got an amazing deal, and that gets paid off this year. And Toyota is just like, hey, we're really hurting for used cars. We're really looking
They
to
are too.
purchase yours. I'm like, you're hurting for used cars because your new cars are so fucking expensive. Everybody's buying a used car, so you can't keep
Yep.
them on the lot because that's what people can afford. And your used cars are overpriced.
Big time. And they're
Like
going to give
if
you, say, 19 for it. Then they're going to flip
yeah,
it for 22. And
yeah,
then they're going to have you into a new vehicle for 40.
yeah.
And then your payments are just, it's like the people that are like that don't kind of think like us and will own a vehicle, have no payment. At some point, maybe just like I know some people that they lease a vehicle because they're like, I'm always going to have a car payment regardless, but now I get to drive something new every year. I get to, you know what I mean, have a different one, whatever I want, and they lease them for 2 years, maybe three, a year, whatever they afford and how much they drive, and they're like, I know that I'm always going to have a payment for life.
Leases can be dangerous though, because
True.
you go just a little bit over that mileage. Whew,
Mm-hmm.
whew.
Yeah, and I never looked into it just because of me. Like my brain is like, pay it off, drive it, and
Yeah,
then when you need to. But and it's in up here, like I never saw the point because with all the snow, the salt, the sand and stuff, it just beats the shit out of the vehicle. And I'm not going to drop $20 or whatever it is to car wash it every week. It's just
yeah.
going to rust out, and I've accepted it.
So the wife and I are currently looking for. We are currently looking for like a used, like maybe mid 2000s. So like your 2010, 15, like time frame, like a Chrysler Pacifica,
Hmm.
because we have the Danes, and
Yeah.
I mean I can get them into the Jeep, but they don't like being cramped in that Jeep together. Hey, you put
No,
two Great Danes in a Jeep Compass. I don't listen. It's got plenty of space in it, but I mean
not
they
when you add
stand. Yeah,
two mini ponies.
yeah. Because I mean their backs are 32, 33 inches at the shoulders. There's not 33. Like they go in there and they're like semi cramped down. So
And are you like me? Like I wouldn't be comfortable ever putting my dog in the back of a truck. Like
no,
unless maybe I was to tie it down, but then what's the point? Like I see people all the time and I'm like, cool, you train them, but it only takes that one. Like
listen.
my buddy had a dog. It was his farm dog. It was a blue heeler mix that has been around forever. That thing would never leave his side. You could tell it one thing, it always listened. And then just one day, it was in the back of the truck. It was close to home, knew he was at home. Truck stopped because a vehicle was coming on. So he thought it was time to get off the truck. Jumps, gets hit, passes away. Like sad, sad moment.
So
Awesome dog. But
I
still,
I have a story for that.
yeah.
I used to own a Chevy S10, like a
Hmm.
90, it was like a 97 Chevy S10.
Oh, I loved my S10. Loved
With
mine.
the third door,
Yep.
the little third door, but it
The
wasn't a full
little
size
bucket
cab.
seats.
Yeah, it wasn't a full
The little
size
seats
cab.
come down.
The
Fucking
the
love that
back
stuff.
seat actually faced
So,
perpendicular to the
like,
other two
yeah,
seats.
you looked at each other. Yep, they fold up. Oh yeah.
So, and we'd had Boxers, and we were driving the Boxer to go back. Like this is probably about 2 months, about a month and a half, 2 months after we bought the Boxer. We went to go. We called the owners. Be like, hey, would you like to see how he's doing? We'd love to bring him back to come and see you.
Hmm.
Because as people that bred dogs, we liked seeing our animals growing up and see how they're doing and everything. So I'm driving there, and thankfully I'm going slow as shit. But he was in the back. Yep, there it is.
Remember the?
There it is. So he was in the back. He was in the truck bed, and I had him on his leash. Well, he was on a harness, and I had the harness on a leash. And what people don't think about is you can have it on a short lead. That's not going to prevent the dog from jumping out. And that's what I found out,
Mm-mm.
because he got so excited seeing that home. And mind you, thankfully I'm just going up the drive. I'm like right on the driveway. I just catch it in the rear view. I see this dog, whoop, go to jump out, and boo, I slammed on the brake, and you hear this doo up against the side of up against the side of the vehicle. But what had happened is he jumped out, and his harness hit, but his face just went real quick, just scraped
Yeah.
against it was just low enough for his face to hit the ground. So of course now I'm bringing him up to this guy's house. I was like, "Oh, he's doing great." Fucking whole side of his face is bloody. I was like, "Listen, let me explain what happened." I said, "Literally, this just happened on your driveway."
He's had a great life except for the last 3 minutes. I mean, other than that, fantastic. Man, that's yeah. I just could never. I mean, obviously that story with that, but I just, I just couldn't. I
I'm
just
more
couldn't
willing to
imagine.
sit.
I don't.
I'm more willing to sit in the back of a truck than put my animal back there.
Yeah, and we have a bigger dog now. We've always had. I've always had smaller dogs, but now that we have that, the mix that we have, not quite the Dane, but he's pretty big. And like I said, he just we used to put them in the middle of us in the front, and now it's like, you are way too goddamn big, bud. I don't know. Like
Yeah.
now when we go camping, I have a Silverado, so we have 2 dogs, 3 kids. You know what I mean? Me and the wife. It's
Jesus.
like, God damn, like where do we put the big ass dog now? Like
Bro,
he's
it's
gonna have to sit in the middle and the little dog's in the back. And the little
time
dog
time to get
poops,
that
so
time to
nobody.
get that fifth wheel, bro, and the dog just sits back in the fifth wheel while you're driving.
Well, we have the camper, and I mean, technically, he could. I'm like, I couldn't do it because it has the slide, so it's not
Oh
wide.
yeah.
He could chill, and we have him kennel trained because I mean, he's his breed that I'm drawing a blank what the breed is, but he's known for like they like to be denned, they like to have their own space, and when
Yeah.
they're out and bored, they're destructive.
Yep.
And I'm like, well, that's and part of it's a lab. Oh, it's lab
Oh,
New Finney.
Newfoundland.
Yep.
Great dogs
So the
though.
Newfoundland, yeah. Oh, he's a good dog. I mean, he's approaching a year now, so he's starting to calm down. He gets bored. Like the other day, I walked in. We have a sleeping bag that's on our kitchen floor, just so the dogs can lay down and not be cold in our old farmhouse. And I get him out in the morning. He's got half of the goddamn sleeping bag through his kennel. He's able to get his fucking hand and just kind of. I watched it on camera, and he went, got it in, got half of it in, laid on half, and then chewed all the stuffing out of it. I'm like, you motherfucker.
We
He's got a kennel full of toys, but that was more, and I can't blame him. I mean,
we ended up laying down a futon on the floor for the Danes. Because
yep.
first of all, I can't afford. So the futon mattress, I think costs us like $65 to get them a dog
So
bed that would fit a
tiny
Great
beds.
Dane is like $219. I'm like, you can go fuck yourself. I
Yep.
got a
Yeah, we looked at.
futon. I got a full-size futon mattress. It fits both of those dogs, and they're happy.
Yeah, shit. And even if you bought something on Marketplace for a
Yeah.
dog, like, sorry, this is a used futon that you probably were hooking up with your significant other on for a while. When you're, who cares? The
I'm like,
dogs are gonna
works
be on
great
it.
for a
We'll
dog.
shampoo. Yeah, and like you said, yeah, we looked at because we actually just took in a drop off cat that didn't have a lot of life left in it. That thing was skin and bones, and checked it over. It's a dude cat that was fixed and everything. And our youngest was always like, I know everybody else has a cat. So we brought it in, and she's been nursing this thing back to health with food, and it's starting to do better finally. But it's like we were looking at cat beds and dog beds, this and that, and like you said, for just like a basic cat bed was like $35, and I'm like,
Dude,
not that that's expensive, but it's like I was like, dude, we have blankets and so many sleeping bags. Your cat doesn't need a cat bed. So we found this little, it's like this pop-up thing. It converts into a bed, and then
Mhm.
it pops up, and it's almost like they have like a little tunnel or a den to lay in.
Yeah, yeah.
And that
Yep.
cat fucking loves it. It just hides in there. It eats, pukes, shits, and then hides in this thing. But
Yeah.
we don't know how to introduce it to the other cats yet. And I'm like, ugh. So we've been doing the towel trick to try to see if they'll get. Apparently, there's a thing on the internet where like the one cat will lay all over it, then you put the towel to the
Oh,
side so they get used to their
yeah. So
smell and their
the
presence.
scent.
And we've been feeding them with the door in between them, so they
Mhm.
are getting used to, I think, eating. We're gonna try it for 2 weeks and then be like, all right, let's see what happens. They're all dudes, so I
Yeah.
don't. I was
We
like, and he needs to build up some strength because even if he gets in a fight, like the 2 house cats we already have are would put a pummel on him. So I'm like, fuck.
got some heavyweights
He'll
at the
be.
house, do you?
We have one who's like a dominant, just fucking dickhead. Like you look at him and you know that like mean cat meme
Yeah.
with the mean cat, like that is him. Like he just looks like I'm ready to fuck you up at all time, every day, anytime. Let's go.
Our
The other
cat,
one's kind of like,
I've got a cat who used to be an indoor cat. He's now an outdoor cat, and I'll send you a video immediately following the podcast here. But he chose to be an outdoor cat. He went outside
mm-hmm.
and said, "This is nice. I'm staying here." And I've brought him back in once because we were like, "Hey, the weather's really bad." It's like it was an absolute downpour. The temperature dropped down to like 40 degrees. I brought him inside, and all he cared about was trying to get back out. So I was like, all
Yeah.
right, let me pick him up and I'll put him back outside. And he's got a nice little, we made a hut out of a Rubbermaid, like a giant, like a jumbo Rubbermaid bin. It's like,
Mm-hmm.
it's like 2.5 feet tall. So I cut that out. I lined it. He's got a heating pad in there, like one that just stays on all the time. He's got his food and water
Ooh.
bowl out there. So he's happy, but he's become my livestock guardian. So
Oh
he
shit.
patrols with me every morning,
That's awesome.
every night. You'll see him walking around with the chickens. Like he just saunters through the chickens and the turkeys during the day. Um,
I
but yeah,
run this
he
bitch.
he follows me every night. He's like, "Are we like?" I'll go outside right as it starts getting dark. I'll get my stuff on. I'll open up the front door, and he's just sitting on the front steps, like, "You ready?" I'm like, "All right, man, let's go." And he'll
I've been
walk right
waiting.
behind me or right in front of me, just kind of meow meow the whole time. So I have a conversation with him. I think it's
Why
healthy.
not? I mean, it's healthy for everybody.
I talk to my
You know,
animals like I talk to anybody else. Like I don't baby talk animals. I talk to them like
yeah, it's
I'm
fucking
having a
weird.
human conversation.
I don't
And
baby talk humans, let
but
alone animals.
but there's people that find that weird. There's people that find it
Mm,
weird when you talk to your animals like a regular person.
yeah,
The-
well, those people probably drink their bourbon without ice, and let's be honest, it's one way or the other. But I just looked at the clock, brother, and that's the first time I've looked at it, and we hit our time. I like this. I like this new format, and I think it's going to continue to evolve as we have a conversation, like I said, and kind of gear away. And I guess we didn't really say this live, but we were talking backstage, like TikTok Tuesday. Like it was a thing. Like TikTok isn't what it used to be. Our love, our creative stuff that, well, I know me personally, and like you're doing some stuff on there, which is I think more geared for fun for you. But like our
yeah.
love for TikTok isn't what it was three
No.
years ago, where everybody wants to see these videos, and maybe it's still we still show some videos because finding those true gems of TikTok is a little bit harder. So maybe you can come in here and see some of them, but it's just not what it was to a lot of us, the viewers. So like that's why we're kidding around with Turkey Trot Tuesday and Thunder Tank Tuesday and whatever else we come up with, True Talk Tuesday. You know what I mean? It's gonna be yeah, potentially Euban, Brandon, Toby, Richie, like the boys who are available. And obviously, it's not live. You're not watching this live, but it could look like it's live because I think I'm still going to potentially use that free year of StreamYard I have and take this pre-recording and put it as like a just throw it out there on the social so people can watch it. But
Yeah.
like I said, we didn't even show a TikTok video today. It's just because we want to have a conversation with the boys,
It
and maybe it
was
evolves. Maybe like Toby has an idea, Richie, and we're like, let's
yeah.
gear this towards this. That's
What
fun.
I what I really liked about today, I'm going to be completely honest. Nothing was scripted. Nothing was
Yeah,
set. You know what I mean? Like by that I mean like nothing was organized. We didn't have like a list of things that we were going to talk about. We just talked, and then if something sparked us going, "Hey, that reminds me. Have you thought about, and you just get I like that. I,
yep,
I I
same.
like that format. I like that
Yep,
format of just it's more I think it's to me it's a more enjoyable or watchable kind of format because it's like
yep.
sitting around kicking the shit with your friends.
And that's exactly what we've kind of done the other one with Euban and Brandon. It's just kind of there's points in case the conversation stalls.
Yeah.
But when you're with your boys, like you don't go into a bar, you don't go into a party with a list of things and being like, okay, well, if Toby asks about a dog, I'm
Yeah.
gonna do this, and then if Richie says something about comedy, I want to talk about this that Shane Gill like it's
Yeah.
just genuine, it's just free flowing, and that's why I said but it's hard to rebrand. You know what I mean? It's triple T, but triple T is what it is. Just take some funny words that are big T, and that's what it is. We're gonna
There
spill
you
the
go.
tea on triple T or something. Like we're
Triple
gonna have fun
T
with it,
is
and like I said,
whatever you want it to be.
yeah, tired teacher talk. You're a tired teacher, come chat with us.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Come
Maybe you
hang out.
change tires for a living. Tire changing, tire. That changing is a C. Tire talk Tuesday. We're gonna
Yeah.
talk about tires someday. So. But either way, no, I'm excited for it, and like I said, it's not only is it easier for us to not have to prepare anything, we just sit down with a mic, grab a beverage on our own time whenever it works out for us, and we're, we get a conversation. We get a conversation going. And if people want to watch it, cool. If not, well, I'm having a beer with you and whoever else shows up on a Sunday, and that's what this whole thing's about is just hanging out with dudes. And because we don't live anywhere near each other, we can't just go over and be like, "Hey, want to have a beer by a bonfire today?" Cool. See you
It'd
in
be
12
way
hours.
worse if it was us sitting around in person drinking.
Someday,
It'd be way
when
worse.
someday when we're super rich, we're gonna have a. Where do we decide our studio was gonna be? Wasn't Ohio.
Well, you guys
Kentucky?
kept saying Ohio, but Kentucky would probably be a better fit. It's prettier in
We just
Kentucky.
I mean, in I've already told the kids. I said, in about 7 years from now, like I'm out of here. Like I can go. The youngest is still in school, but she's like the one that would be okay. I think moving, like very social. So
Yeah.
I'm like, once that happens, we're out of here, and that's when we build the studio. So 7 years from now, when this podcast hits 11 or 12 years, we're gonna have a central studio. Or maybe I've always loved North Carolina. Maybe I just find my way down there.
I'll just build some more land, and part of it can just be we'll have the studio built on that, and then
Or I just
parcel
buy a
out.
studio. I buy a warehouse and I just have part of it where I live and part of it where is a studio, and we'll
Yeah.
figure that out. We got time. I got a buddy in Outer Banks. Maybe he's
Oh,
got some cool places out there.
have you ever seen that show? You don't want to go there.
I haven't. I went down. No, yeah, I went down. I think he got married down there. I went down there. It was nice. I mean, I didn't. We just stayed on the beach the whole time in like a rental place. I didn't go out in the city.
Yeah.
But I forgot there was a show about it, so I
Yeah.
want nothing to do with that. But he's a chiropractor out that way, so if anybody needs some back crack-a-lacking, hit him up. Morehead City Chiropractic, I think is what it is. But either way, Toby, can't thank you enough, brother. It was good catching up, and we'll be doing this again soon. Maybe you'll see some more faces. Maybe you won't. I like when the conversation. It's funny. Like Richie last week, we played like 4 videos. We were just having a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
Today, we didn't even play one. Like the 3 of us get together, it's going to even be crazier. So
Yeah.
fucking love it. I love it. So all right, that's all I got. Check out the friends of the show. Check out all the Toby stuff on the socials. Check out Richie, Jet Entertainment Tonight, and Copper John's, Fat Baby Bourbon, Deluxe Edition Network. Check them all out if you want. If not, the hell with it. Then thanks for listening. I don't know why you're still here, but we appreciate the hell out of you. So see you
Go
next week
home.
or sometime.
It's over.
Whenever. It's over. We gotta go. I mean, we can. We gotta go.